Be Inspired is the fastest growing UK edutainment event for businesses and entrepreneurs.
I'm yet to find an event like Be Inspired. Personality, spirituality, business, marketing, sales, people, love, it's got everything.
As soon as you walk in the room, you can just feel the energy and the vibe is just completely different.
Whether you are an introvert, an extrovert, an ambivert, there's just so much warmth and love and friendship and support.
We've wanted to come for the last couple of years, but didn't. Obviously, financial things, you always think, oh, I can't do that, but it's the best money we've ever spent. Thought I was going to be sat in a corner, not speaking to anybody. Everybody's so welcoming. To meet people in person that can benefit both businesses, it's mind-blowing.
We're creating safe spaces for conversations that matter in life and in business.
There's something about stepping into a busy environment that can often be really worrying for a lot of people. What happens every year at Be Inspired is we move things forward around inclusion, diversity and equality.
I'm neurodivergent myself, so having like Sense Story where I can go and be in a quiet space, where I can really kind of ground myself, be able to get the full experience of Be Inspired, but to keep myself safe.
We bring you the very best in upcoming UK and global speaking talent, bringing you their businesses, their missions, their message to inspire, motivate and celebrate you as we all rise together.
It feels like a real sort of collaboration. Everybody's on your side. They want you to win. They want you to succeed.
Because of the belief that they have in you, it allows you to have the belief in yourself. The contacts, the connections, the friendships, the development of my business has all stemmed from that one experience.
Expect high energy, engaging talks that are going to leave you fired up and ready to take on the world.
Doors are opening and conversations are starting. I'm partly kicking myself that I haven't done it before.
We want you to come and learn and laugh and be inspired with us. And the naughty kids are welcome.
If you're thinking about coming to Be Inspired, definitely make that leap of faith, get your ticket. Everything in business that is important and impactful is really tough, and to have a team like this that's got your back is just gonna help you grow and grow and grow.
You can get your ticket right now to our next event by going to www.imthequeenbee.co.uk. Good morning, good morning. Hello, everybody. How are you? I am happy today. I mean, I'm happy most days, don't get me wrong. Is my general default setting is I try to live in a high frequency and a high vibration. But today, I'm feeling particularly happy and particularly excited. One, it's Wise Up Wednesday, so I've got a fantastic guest coming to speak to us this morning. Somebody who's been a friend of mine for a long time. I don't get to speak to them as often as I'd like, but we have worked together and we've got lots of really cool things to share with you this morning, things that hopefully are going to make you think. But today also, I get to go on an adventure. So for anybody that watches my Instagram stories or who knows me, know that one of my best friends in the world is the incredible Jojo Smith from Creative Sass, who's our creative director for Be Inspired. And also she is just she's a business fairy godmother. You need to go and follow her. But me and Jojo and Danielle, who's on our team from Pretty Practical Business. We've also got Joe McMeekin from Sense Story and Alex Liner from Beyond the Binary. We are going out on the squad tonight. We're going to see Pink at Bolton. So I'm all things pink today. I've not made my mind up what I'm actually going to wear. So I'm just working my way through my pink flowery day dresses, of which I have a few. I posted about this yesterday, which I was really excited about. It's from this company called Smirl, 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 right? And I did a post about this. Every time somebody follows or unfollows me on Instagram, it ticks up or it ticks down. And I posted about it yesterday, and we've jumped up by 10 followers, which I'm really excited about. So we were fluctuating around the 70s yesterday, and then we we bobbed over into the 80s. If you don't already follow me on the Instagram, make my day, will you? Make the show. I love seeing these tick over. It means that we're reaching more people. It means that more people are coming into contact with the IATQB community. It means more people are being inspired to take up space audaciously and to be the change that they want to see in the world. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please go to the Queen Bee Danny and then come back and check in, and you'll see your number go up, which I'm just absolutely in love with. Where did I get it? It's Smirl, SMIIRL, and they do a partnership scheme whereby they're quite expensive. They're a couple of £100, but you can get like refund based on like social media posts. Really clever how they do it. So based on like different social media posts and interactions that you do, and then they'll like refund you, like offset some of the cost against it. So that's what I'm doing. So if you see me post about it, just get my money back on it, babes. But also, I just love it. I just think it's brilliant. It's a really engaging tool as we are moving the show at Rise Up show onto our Patreon platform in the next few weeks. As it becomes, even more of a thing, you've got more of that structured format around it, more of even more value than ever before, that I kind of want to make sure that we've all got our eyes on growing this community together, reaching more people and showing up, wising up and rising up together, because we all do well when we all do well. Now, on Monday, I couldn't show you my leg, could I? I couldn't show you my leg. I went, so Lou's actually watching along this morning. From Woodland Realm Tattoo Studio, and I went over to Liverpool Tattoo Convention to be tattooed by Lou on a big thigh piece that is now uncovered. Shall I show you? I've got my label on, look, because I bought it this morning from the Tesco. I was panic buying day dresses, so I went early, dropped Daisy off, bobbed into the Tesco, got stuck in the roadworks. I was almost late. Can I show you? Have I got to get up on here? Hang on, wait there. Oh, God. I'm insured. Can anything happen here? Look. There it is. There she is. Get me wire out of the way. It's the Wizard of Oz. There's the sparkly shoes. There's the Land of Oz. There's the fairy godmother's like crystal ball thing. Anything could have happened then, but I survived it. And I absolutely adore it. So, yeah. Thanks, Lou, for being amazing. For those of you that want a mate states tattoo, remember to get into my inbox and see what we can sort out. I would love to do a show at Rise Up show from the tattoo parlor. Lou, we'll have to talk about that. How can we have a conversation while we're being tattooed? By the end of Sunday, I could not have a conversation. I think we were going for about 5 hours, 6 hours, something like that. And towards the end, I couldn't talk to anybody. I was out. I was like, I just want my mum. I don't want the tattoo anymore. Take it back, please. So yeah. It's nice to do these things. It's nice to think a little bit outside of the box. Not necessarily, tattoos might not be for you, right? But yeah, it's nice to kind of do things in a little bit of a different way. And that is what we're going for. And somebody who does things in a little bit of a different way is my friend who is on the show this morning. So tell you a little bit more about her journey and to give you some food for thought on how you grow your audience, please welcome to the show Rise Up show, the glorious Viv Guy. Good morning.
Good morning. I just realised I've got really bad hair. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Hello, my angel. Viv, it has been quite some time since you and I had a conversation, right?
It has, and I was thinking about when we actually met, and I think it was 2019.
It was 2019. It was the year that I decided that IATQB was going to be a thing, that I was going to be a speaker coach. And you facilitated, I think, my second brand shoot. So,
right. And we had our day out with all the ladies, didn't we? Coming together, the besties shoot. That was it.
It was amazing. In fact, it remains one of my favorite shoots to date. I still use even though I don't really kind of look like I do on the pictures, the vibe and the things that you caught on those photos were unlike anything really that I've had kind of captured since. It was such a fun day and the start of a mutual and loving respect between the two of us and our work ever since. I've featured on your podcast. You've been on the show previously. And now you're on the show again to talk about some things.
I am, and thank you so much for having me back. And like I said to you, gosh, how much changes in such a short space of time. I mean, like, you've shrunk. Like,
I've shrunk and I've grown, like metaphorically. Physically, I've shrunk. Metaphorically, I've exponentially expanded.
Yes, you've grown as a person, but shrunk, actually physically. I've got longer hair. It's all changing, isn't it?
It is indeed all change. So, Viv, tell us more about what it is that you did, what it is that you do. And I think that it will be really cool for us this morning to talk a little bit about your journey from where you kind of began as a business owner to actually where you are now and the things that you do. And then we'll move into some hot top tips for you all out there. We are packing in the value this morning for you all.
We're going to get as much as we can. So, started my first business. This makes me feel freaking old. 20 years ago, nearly, almost 20 years ago. I was 22 when I started my first.
She was 5. She was 5 when she started. One of the very young entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I was. Started at 22, and I was doing the sums the other day because I should probably work out this number. And I realised with that first business, I made over £7 million in that first business. I was like, oh yeah, that was pretty good accomplishment.
That's no small prize.
It's a phenomenal company, and it's still going today. But I got bored. I'm a typical entrepreneur. I got bored, and it was ticking over. And I decided I wanted to have a family, so I wanted to do something else. My degree was originally very creative, drama. So I thought, well, I want to do something creative. I'm going to do photography, just like that.
Yeah.
Pop out a baby, let's become a photographer. So I knew I didn't want to go back to it was a really high stress job, the first business I built up. There was a lot of bureaucracy because of the type of work we did. And I just was like, I want to be more present, like if I'm going to have kids. So I set up this photography business. But maybe me wanted to do everything. So I wanted to do newborns. I wanted to do maternity shoots. I wanted to do boudoir shoots. I wanted to do branding shoots. I wanted to do weddings. So I was like that, doing everything. Which
when we met, you were coming through the end of that really broad spectrum delivery in that spot. And I remember at the time there was this, you did this like kind of business besties photo shoot.
Yeah.
Which was, as a concept, it was incredible, and B, the output was phenomenal. But also at the time, I remember you being pulled internally in different directions, and like getting your thumb right on it was a struggle, right?
Oh, totally. Because it's that thing, isn't it? Of like, it's the thing, isn't it? When you niche, is it the right niche? And I think we get so hung up on this is the rest of my life when actually. I heard someone say a great thing like take it out for coffee for a month, or a couple of months. It's not the end of the world.
Date it for a little bit.
Married and have babies with you, So if it's not right for you, you can change it. But there was this whole like, and I've invested a lot in like all my studio. I had built a creative studio, and obviously doing brand photography, going out and about. Didn't need all that stuff, all that kit and caboodle and all the props. So there's such, and I was like, I've given a lot of time to this. So I did feel quite torn for sure, but I was excited as well because I was like that. I felt like I found my calling, and I was like, this is what I'm really passionate about. And I was really passionate because what was interesting was finding women that were kind of, I want to say rebels, doing things differently, shaking things up within their industries and things.
I wouldn't know what that's like at all.
I know you wouldn't at all. And weirdly, that was never part of my branding. Like, I work with rebels, but I attracted so many rebels.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. Yeah. So I went through that turmoil, but niched. It was fantastic. As soon as I niched, business just transformed. I was making 5K profit months within 10 weeks of my niche and my rebrand. So that was all fantastic. And, I was that weird person that grew her business through COVID, when everyone else was like, I've got no shoots, got nothing.
Yeah.
Because I the way I offered and structured my packages meant I had monthly recurring income and stuff. So it was really awesome. But I realized in my heart of hearts, I was like, this is not my true calling. I've had a nice time, but I don't see myself wanting to do this for the next 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
Pretty much, I'm going to be honest, I'm a wimp. So when it came to winter shoots, I just didn't like going out.
It's not fun for anyone, is it? And when you're shooting in the winter, you're not shooting for the winter. You're shooting for the spring and the summer. You're not shooting for the content right now. So
not warm. But so I didn't like it. I hated being wet and cold. So I was like, do you know what? I don't think I want to do this for the rest of my life anymore. And interestingly, what had happened is when I'd like niched and rebranded into the personal brand photography, I'd had other photographers and things going, how did you do it? Like, how did you do it so fast? You know, and the grow your income and da da da. So I started doing like little power hour coaching sessions. And everyone had said to me when I like stepped away from my first business, you should do consultancy or coaching. I was like, no, just need to be creative and do something totally different. You know, and just like, I've done this for a long time. I need something totally different. But then I was like, oh, I'm really enjoying this coaching. And
this coaching malarkey.
I was like, you know, it is something I enjoy. It is something I've been doing, obviously, like as I built my team and stuff for the first business, because I had a really big workforce.
I think you hold really great space for people, though. I think one of the brilliant things about you is that you are a great mentor because of the way that you hold space for people.
Yeah, I think so. You know, it's one of those things that it's hard to see it yourself, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm also really good at kicking ass, apparently. Everyone says, you know,
yeah, you are.
A good kick-ass way. So I will like kick people up the butt and make them get stuff done, hold people accountable. But as I said, in a nice but tough way.
In a nice way. Sergeant Major with a smile.
Hold space, but I will tell you when you need to get a crack on. So I started evolving. And again, I was totally different to how I've been with my first business, which was like bam, 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 bam. This I was like, got these kids, and I popped another one out pretty quick after the first one, and I was like just gonna let it, like, I'm just gonna try and go with the flow, like not true Viv style control freak, you know, that I am by nature. I was like, I'm gonna go with the flow, just see what happens. And I just found myself moving into this coaching arena. And so I was like, right. So I was doing both. I was doing photography and coaching, which was like a lot to juggle.
Yeah.
For a good year, as I obviously grew the coaching business. And it was so interesting because I was really attracting amazing women, rebels again, who were like, rebels in the sense that I guess that they were like, I don't want to market in the way I've been taught to market.
Yes.
It doesn't feel right. And I'm not making the sales I want. I'm not making the revenue I want, because the way like marketing on social media and all that jazz, it just doesn't feel good, and it's not working.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that, because I think there are so many people, I mean, I know in our community that struggle with the concept of like just online marketing, social media marketing, being on socials all the time and kind of living out your life. Like, I love it. It is totally within my comfort zone. I love it. It feeds the showgirl in me. I love a selfie. I'm a bit of a gob. Like, that feeds that bit of me that needs that external validation, all of that sort of stuff. Like, I know what it is. But for some people out there who've got incredible and beautiful businesses, it just isn't for them. And that does not take away any validation from that business at all, because you don't enjoy or feel aligned to, or however you want to articulate that, you don't fucking want to market yourself in the online space. And I think that one of the things that I really admire about you, Viv, is that I remember having a conversation and you making that decision. I just don't want to be on socials all the time. I just don't want to be in this melee, in this noise. And I want to kind of prove to myself that I can build a business in outside of this, because I've done it before it was a thing.
Yeah, which I had to remind myself, because when I started the photography, I came into this online world and I fell into the trap that we all fall into, which is you have to be on social media, because I was like, well, I've not done this. You know, my first business, no social media didn't even exist when I started, you know, way back.
When you were 5.
Yeah, when I was 5. Yeah. For me, you know, because I'm obviously a dead outgoing person, you know, to drama. I am a showgirl in many ways.
Yes.
But there was a part of me that felt, I think because my kids were so small as well, very intrusive, because there's this need obviously to feed social media so that you're top of people's feeds and your content's being seen and so you've got to be there all the time. And I was like that. I found it intrusive, and I found I wasn't present in my downtime. You know, so I'd be out and about and I'd be still thinking, what would be a really good Instagram story from this?
Yeah.
And I'm not alone. Like, there's so many people with sort of coming to me saying the same things. And so for me, I'm really sorry, the cleaners are just out there.
That's all right. I've got some guy strumming his lawn directly outside. I don't know if you're looking at it. No, it's all good.
Really sorry.
It's all good. Life is happening around us, right?
I should have said something before we start. So yeah, I think that was the thing. It's like there's so much pressure. So for me, I was like that. As much as I'm happy on social media, but weirdly, when I left social media, people were like, yeah, I never really vibed with you on social media, but in person, because I think it was a weird. For me, doing drama, you know, I was always very theatre based, so I had a real people that I could see and like, you know, perform too.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously you're not seeing people on camera as much, so I found it difficult, and which is why with the podcast, I love doing interview based. I love having conversations.
Yeah.
You know, it's that energy that comes from having real people to kind of interact with. So it was really interesting sort of point of self discovery, I think, as well for me. But yeah, so as I said, you know, the whole pressures, there's a lot of social pressure when you're in running an online business to be on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And I have so many people that are like, yeah, but can I really come off, you know, or blah, blah, blah. And I say to people,
who's going to find out about me?
Who's going to find out about you? But who the frick's finding out about you now? So this is like, you know, let's talk about some tips here as we're moving through this. So
yeah,
one of the things I say to people is, if you want to be on social media, which is fine, you don't have to be off social media. Okay. I'm not a like anti-social media. I think it's a fabulous, fabulous tool.
Yeah.
But it's 2023 and we have to be realistic here. It's not what it was 10 years ago. It's not even what it was 5 years ago in terms of, you know, the reach, the engagement that you're going to get.
And it's moving faster and faster and faster as well.
Yeah. And what I see, so many people coming to me with the problem is, I say, what are you doing for your lead generation? So how are you bringing new people like into your email list, into your audience? And they go, well, I post on social media every day. I'm like, yeah, but what are you doing to actually get in front of new people? And they go, well, I post on social media every day, which is awesome for the people that are already in your world. And remember, only about 3% of them people are actually going to see your content that are already in your world. Social media is not pushing your content
unless you're paying. Unless you're paying for it.
It is not pushing your content out to new people.
Yeah.
So that is not a lead generation strategy. It's a connection, a bit of a nurture strategy. But as I said, remember, only 3% of people are going to see that. So for me, like that change, because I'm dead logical and I do like some numbers. I'm not, you know, I'm creative, but I do like data. And this came, I think, from running my first business. When I looked at it and I was like, well, I'm a freaking mum now. I've only got 20 hours a week to working because I decided from the day they were born, I was like, I'm only going to work like school hours.
Yeah.
So I was like, I know, you know, I was like, I want to take Fridays off. I want to not work 80-hour weeks like I'd done for 12 years.
Yeah.
You know, from the age of 5 when I'd started my first business. So what I did was I was like, well, all this time on social media, I was spending so much time. I was like, Mondays was batching day, and then I was having to be on there. And I was like, it's not really giving me the return on investment that I want for the effort.
If you think about actually how much you were getting paid an hour.
Yeah. And people forget this, they go, but I'm not actually, you know, when you talk about the return on investment, you're like, if I'm not paying, your time is freaking
your
worth
time.
Very valuable.
More than any kind of pound sign or dollar sign.
Absolutely. Right? So actually, you know, when you, all this time that you spend. So
it's the only thing that you can't get back.
Can't get it back. So I was like, I need a way of marketing that's going to get me a better return on investment that feels better for me and that's going to grow my audience really quickly.
Yeah.
Because that was the thing, you know, everybody knows, you hear it all the time. You need an email list when you're in business, and you've got to keep growing it, you know, and there is that direct correlation. Here's my little funnel. The leads that you bring in to the money that comes out at the bottom. Don't bring enough new leads in, the money's going to stop. And this is where we see the roller coaster peaks and troughs within incoming business. And it's soul destroying, it's frustrating, it's demoralizing, it's a total, you know, am I allowed to swear on here? I am, aren't I?
Absolutely.
I was like, standing there, you know,
baby with me.
You haven't gone all like, you know, no. It's total mind fuckery, isn't it? Like that comes with not having consistent income, like feeling like what you do is not good enough because nobody's buying from you. It's none of that stuff. No, it is not that you're not good. What you've got to offer is not good. It's just you're not getting in front of enough people. So that's number one mistake. So stop like using social media and thinking that it's pushing you out and getting new people, new eyes on your content. It's just not happening unless you're paying a lot for it. So what we want to do is like think about, right, there's only 3 ways that you can build a business, okay, that you can get like leads in your business. You can buy an audience, we've just talked about, which can be really expensive. You can build an audience, so you can grow Facebook groups and things like that. That's slow going, as we know, because you've still got to get in front of people and make them aware that you've got a group and that you exist. Or you can borrow an audience. So it's the 3 Bs. So you've only got them 3 ways. There's no other ways, right? So there's so many ways you can borrow an audience. And this is what I love. And it is the fastest way to grow your audience organically. And if you're not going to invest in paid ads, and actually, even if you want to have a paid ad strategy alongside it, because I started doing paid ads this year as a bit of an experiment.
And also it serves when you've got
scale.
a funnel that you've got a bit of money. It's a gamble, right? And you should only, when you're paying for something like this, pay for something if you can afford to do it. Say if you've got $5,000 in the bank and you've only got $5,000 in the bank, don't put $5,000 on an ad spend.
No.
Like, you don't know what your funnel looks like, you don't know what the analytics look like. But if you've got $5,000 sloshing around, and some businesses build up so where they do have that kind of litmus test money, then it's like, don't gamble if you don't have it to lose.
Yeah, no. And you've got to be aware if you're going to do ads, there's a lot of testing involved, and not all your ads are going to work. I was listening to Brandon Lucero, and he was saying, like, he's a messaging king, and he was saying, like, only 25% of our ads succeed. So 1 out of 4 succeeds. So you've got to have that money if you're going to do ads, but it can complement, alongside as you grow in sort of scaling your business, which is where I got to. So I was like, that actually, there's only me that can go to so many sort of places in terms of showing up and stuff. So, but in terms of growing your audience, borrowing is great, because it's when you bring in, let's just compare like ads versus borrowing an audience. When you do an ad, it's a cold audience. So basically someone sees you, they don't know about you for the first time, and they go, there's a little thing that says, hey, I can do this, download my thing. That's it. So there's a lot of time that needs to go into your nurturing on email and stuff to warm people up, to get them to trust you, to think that you actually know what you're talking about, and to kind of buy into your way of doing stuff and beliefs. When you go in the way I borrow audiences, I go in as a guest expert. So I'll go in and talk to people, I'll deliver masterclasses, get on stage, whatever it might look like. And there's different ways of doing that. Okay, so different ways of borrowing audiences, but guest experting is the way I teach, because you build credibility, authority, and you get trust because someone said, like you just picked me up this morning going, Viv's amazing, and so people trust you. So there's a degree of trust that's imparted already. It happens. Okay? So that's great. But this is where most people stop. They just go, douche, like, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do lots of guest speaking. But it's what I'm really passionate about is building like relationships and partnerships and collaborations with people. So that means like we keep in touch, and I'll say like, hey, Danny, tell me what you're launching at like different times of the year, or if there's anything you've got coming up, like you want me to promote, and I'll book it into my like content plan. So I know like to when stuff's going to be coming through. And so we can share. So it's audience sharing then.
Yeah.
And the same goes. So I might say, hey, like I'm doing a launch, or I've got a thing coming, or I'm doing a workshop or whatever, fancy give me a shout out about it. And that's what's great, because again, suddenly your return on investment is getting higher and higher and higher, because you build those relationships, and you think about it with some of the big names out there, Amy Porterfield, Jenna Kutcher, James Wedmore, people like that. And they're savvy to this. They know that borrowing audiences, yes, they run ads, but they borrow audiences, and they do it as affiliates. Of course, it's much more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Makes sense if someone else is doing the selling for you, right?
Yeah. But they do it. They know the value of those relationships. So they don't have, they can literally go like, pick up the phone. Hey, Amy, I'm doing this launch. Do you want to promote? Like, do you want to be an affiliate? Do you want to? And they go, yeah, of course I do, because I like value what you do, So it suddenly like increases that return on investment. And that's what's amazing. So it's about like really focusing on building real genuine relationships with people. And I think that's something we really miss so often. We're so fast paced that we're just literally like that. How can I get an audience? How can I get an audience right now? And actually it's like, well, how can I go and show up? But also, what is this like? How can I grow my audience in the long term, short and long term? Because actually 5 years down the line, if we've got a relationship, we can still be doing stuff. I can go, I've got this amazing like free training I've just done. Do you want to share it with people, and vice versa. So that's how it works. Sorry.
And this, don't be sorry. No. It's perfect. No, and it's so interesting. And as well, for those of you that are out there that are thinking, flipping heck, this isn't something that I've considered. I've been posting every day on Facebook. And the thing is, it's all well and good if you're posting every day on Facebook. The algorithm, the odds are not ever in your favor. at the minute, now more than ever, like Instagram and Facebook are pushing you into a subscription situation. Like the whole blue tick thing now is they want you to pay $11.99 or $9.99 on Facebook, either whoever it is, however much it is, in order for you to have subscription. If you don't have those, there's going to be like favored accounts. So favored accounts are people that have got massive engagement already. Favored accounts are people that are paying for their accounts. Favored accounts are people that have got big ad spend. And if you think that these social media platforms, they have their own funnel. They want you to pour money into them in terms of things like paid ads. If you are being more savvy about it, I build my audience through speaking. My ticker goes up 100, 200 each time I do a big speaking gig.
Yep.
So like that's another way that you can do this. So one, build those relationships and not a smash and grab. Or I have so many people all the time, Danny, can I come in and do something in your group? And often I'll say no, because they've not spent any time building a relationship with me. They've not engaged with my community. Viv, you and I have been friends for a number of years now, and no, we're not in each other's pockets. No, we're not messaging each other all the time, but I really respect you as a businesswoman. I respect the way that you treat those relationships. And I also know that if the time comes and I'm like, Viv, is there some value that I can come and provide for your audience? You'd be like, well, yeah, Dan, come on in, because we've spent time checking in with each other, or, you know, being in each other's spaces. That's taken time. It's 2019. We're now in 2023. Now, that's not to say for everybody that's out there, you know, it's going to take you 4 years before you start building these things. We're just reaping the benefits of 4 years worth of connection. The same with myself and Deep Badgewa, for example, me and Abigail Horn, me and Lisa Johnson. If we think about my core group, and they're my friends. But they were business connections in the first instance that grew into friends because we maintain contact, because we maintain a working relationship whereby I've got this thing going on. Do you want to get amongst it? Well, yeah, I do. Well, I've got this thing going on. Do you want to get amongst it? And because we've generated that trust, we've become a little bit of a power squad. There's like a whole Avengers thing going on. No, it's not the clicky thing, but like you see who's moving and shaking, and the people that are actually locking arms together, the people that are saying we all do well when we all do well. And that's one of the underpinning values. We were talking about this on Monday of IATQB. We all do well when we all do well, and we've got to trust who it is that we work with. And by going, and Lisa's watching. Morning, Lisa. Like for people that say to Lisa, can I come into your group? They're just going in to scoop up. But building those relationships, building that trust, providing value both ways. This is such a valuable conversation for everybody that's listening along. How do we build these audiences? How do we do it offline? I do speaking, I do hosting, I do in-person networking. A lot of what I do under cover of silence. You see, I'm really noisy on the internet. Really noisy on social media. But actually, the majority of work that I do, I'm in my car up and down the country like a bride's 90.
And I think this is the mistake so often that we see people make, isn't it? Like they're not going in to build a relationship with people. It's always, I think we get so, you know, if you're in that place and that phase of your business where you've got peaks and troughs in your income and you're on that roller coaster, you know, and you're in that oh my God, where's my next client coming from? You approach every relationship. So you go to a networking event, who's a potential client? You go in like, you know, oh my God, can I get a client from this? Whereas actually, you know, it's about sort of seeing the bigger picture. And I kind of liken it to dating. You know, you won't go into someone like
you won't go straight in with your blowy.
No, you wouldn't. You won't go in with a blowy. You know, you'd be like, should we go out for a coffee? Like, and get to know, like, have a little chat and a conversation.
Say hiya first.
But so many people, and like, this is what you get when you get, you'll see it all the time, and I get it with the podcast, you know, and stuff, which is like them, the cold pitches that are so presumptuous that it's a good fit. Like, hey, you know, I do this and I'd be great for your podcast. And I'm actually like, you know, there's and it's the assumption that actually like it's a good fit. Whereas actually we want to be kind of taking it back. And I say to people, right, just take your keyboard, put it to one side or your phone, whatever it is, and say what you're thinking of writing out loud, like you're having a conversation with someone in real life that you've met for the first time. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't go in going, hey, I think I'd be a great speaker in your group. I don't know really much about you other than like what I've heard a little bit. But like, do you want me to come in and speak?
and that is all the time.
You know, and that's the problem. Whereas actually, if you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I've heard a little bit about you, you know, tell me more about what you do. Because I think like this perhaps like some crossover, you know, like I'm dead excited to meet you, you know,
Or
let's
if
go
they've
in
got
and
a
have it.
community, if they've got a community that you can share, go and do your research. Like,
Do your research,
go
but talk to
find
people
out
like
about
it's
them.
a conversation as well. Like, don't be so, ugh, you know, it's so icky.
It's interesting because this is the same for pitching for lots of different types of things. So, like PR, for example, or speaking opportunities, for example, like going to a producer and saying, "Oh, I'll be a dead good fit for your event." Again, people pitch themselves to me or that tell me I would be a great speaker on your stage, and they don't consider the route to getting onto my stage. So the route to getting on my stage, for the most part, unless I actively seek you out, tends to be you're a graduate of one of my programs and we are showcasing you. And that's the point of Be Inspired, is that we've got trained speakers on the stage and we're celebrating them and we're creating their assets. We just happen to invite everyone along to the party and Be Inspired to become a thing. If they'd done their research, they'd know that's the route to the stage. Otherwise, like, oh, what are you doing? I'd just be dead good.
What I believe Danny Wallace did with Lisa Johnson years ago.
We're going to be friends.
They have to message him and go, we're going to be best friends.
But
Like,
then show up and be a friend. Don't like. Oh, can I get all your audience to buy from me?
Yeah, it was different, and I think that's the things that, you know, you got to kind of change things up a bit, the way we're pitching and the way we're trying to, and again, without expectation. Danny might not want you on a stage this year, and stop thinking so here and now with some stuff. So there will be opportunities now, but some of this stuff is like future stuff, and it's like, you know, I want to become your best friend and I want to talk to you and I want to build a relationship with you, you know, over time, and let's see what that leads to.
And isn't that, for the whole of business, what we always come back to? Relationships and trust and integrity and doing things with the right intention. And yes, energetic exchange is important, whether that's like being paid or paying or doing, you know, looking after each other, being the hands at each other's backs. That's the basis on which all of business is built, not just audience. Now, I know that you've got a little bit of something for Hive members to come and get involved. Have you got what is it? Is it 100 ways to build your audience, not on social media?
It is 100. No, it's not 100.
Oh no, it's not.
How to grow your email list by 100 new peeps without paid ads or organic social media. Okay?
I love that. Is anybody up for that? Who wants to grow their email list by 100 without using
every month? Yeah,
every month. Mate, me, I do.
It's that sustainability and that consistency. That's what we're looking at.
Perfect. So what we'll do is we'll pop the link to that in the comments thread, and we'll pop it over in the Hive as well. Yep. Viv, it has been a joy to speak to you. Thank you for bringing your energy to the show at Rise Up Show this morning. Thank you for bringing your expertise. Thank you for challenging the way that we think about things. You know, spraying and praying on social media is not going to work to grow your business. Now more than ever, it might have worked with consistency 5, 6, 7 years ago. You've got to be cleverer about it, and it is easier to do that together than it is to do it alone, and go out and build those relationships. We're really lucky as a squad. There's a load of us going out to Atomicon next Tuesday. We're going to be meeting in real life. That's going to be cool. But what I want for Hive members is to go out into different communities and go and find new people, go and find new friends, go and find new communities to go and share and spread their incredible word. Viv, I'm dead proud of you, mate. It's lovely to see you doing so well and absolutely smashing it. I can't wait to see your next move. So thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. And I'll look forward to hearing how it goes at Atomicon. I can't make this year because I've got a birthday party to do for my little one.
Oh, we've been out jazzy shirt, buying for jazzy shirt night on the Monday night. I'm very excited. Right, my darling. Viv Guy, thank you very much for joining us on the show, Wise Up, Rise Up show. That was Viv Guy, everybody. We will pop the links to how to grow your email list by 100 people every month without using paid ads into the comments section on the Queen Bee Daddy page on Facebook, over on LinkedIn, and indeed in the Hive. If you are not following me already on the Instagram, do me a favor, go and do it now. Let's see if we can, like, in the last sort of 10, 15 seconds whilst I'm wrapping up, we can get that number to change. Watch someone go and unfollow me now and it'll go down the way. I don't care. It's all right. I'm just checking that it's working. Thank you so much for joining me this morning, this Wise Up Wednesday. Expect more of these going forward, where we're having these really meaningful interviews, bringing you conversations that matter, bringing you different ways to think, different ways to consider things when you are growing your business, or indeed looking at the other side of things, because life is business and business is life. I will see you on Friday for more Showing Up, Wising Up, and Rising Up. Hopefully we will be celebrating the week together in some way, shape, or form. I won't be in the studio. Oh, look, it's gone up. It will never not get bored. That's just like a little bit of dopamine over there. And I'm not hung up on the number. I just get excited when it moves. So don't think I'm getting all hung up on the number of things. It's not like I'm not like, oh my God, I've got to get to so many followers. Like, I'm over that. That is 7,281 engaged people as opposed to bought audience or what have you. And that's being consistent, and that is showing up, and that is doing the things. It's utilizing things like social media strategy. It's utilizing things like hashtaggery and all of that sort of stuff, all of which I've had to learn. And that's been 4 or 5 years of consistency, as opposed to, quick smash and grab. Does it flick over like an alarm clock? Yeah, it's like, it feels like the mechanics of it feel like really old school, but I just love it. So yeah, could you do me a favor, those of you that are watching along, would you do me a story and ask your friends to follow me and see if we can get that going on? And I'll post you an update in the Hive later on today, just because it makes me happy the more people that we reach. Thank you for joining me on the show, Wise Up, Rise Up show this morning. I won't be in the studio on Friday. I will be in London. I'm speaking for the phenomenal Assistant Rooms in That There London on Friday. So if you are about on Friday and you're in the London area, let's see if we can catch up for a brew or something. If not, I will see those of you that are going to Atomicon on Monday evening at the Jazzy Shirt evening, or even the community. There's a communities party meetup thing like an hour before. Anyway, if you're in the Hive and you're going to Atomicon, go and search. I've got a WhatsApp group on the go. So everyone that's going is in the WhatsApp group, which lives on my phone. You're all in my phone. And we're chatting about what we're getting up to and updating on the Jazzy Shirt situation where we're all staying. And I will see you there. Right, loves? Enjoy the rest of the week. Go out and smash it. Let's celebrate on Friday together. I hope you're going to bring some wins to the table as we celebrate rounding out the first week in June. I can't believe that we're there already. It is the first week in June. No, it's not. It's the second week already. Anyway, bye. I love you.